Hey John, welcome. Thanks for signing up to do a lesson series with me here. Maybe 5 lessons. We're going to start here on the putting green for our first lesson, do like a putting lesson. Then we're going to move to a chipping and pitching lesson next week. Then we're going to move on to the range for the next 2 weeks for work on the full swing there. So we're going to start short, work our way up, and then the last lesson, lesson 5, will be going out for a playing lesson. I know as a better player yourself, lots of experience. You know how to play the game, but even then sometimes, another set of eyes can see something that maybe you even don't see. So today, what we're going to work on is, I've got 2 drills mainly for you today. I've got a ruler drill that I'm going to have you do, which will help with getting the ball started on line, which is crucial for putting. And then I've got another drill that will help you with your distance control on some long putts there. You got any questions?
I think I could use some help.
Oh, perfect. Then we'll get started.
All right, great.
Okay, John, just got done with our first lesson, with a 5-lesson plan. Got done with our putting lesson. Now I know putting is one of the strengths of your game. You don't need a ton of work on it, but even the pros can warm up for their tournaments. They spend most of their time putting. Everybody can use a little work on it.
Now, a couple nice drills, and it's, like you said, easy, something to fit in the bag.
Yeah, you can take that ruler and you can put it in the bag, put it in your locker even, and just bring it out to practice and then put it away when you're done. I would say of the 2, your speed control is pretty good on these longer putts that I saw. I would say for you, I would work on the ruler drill more than the other one, because that'll really help you figure out how to not pull those little short putts that you were hitting. And I'll really help you make more of those, say 2-3 footers. Yeah, no problem. See you next week. John, welcome back. Now we're back on the putting green here again. We're gonna work on our chipping though today. Now I know short game, pretty good at it. You've been playing a long time, you know how to play. Any major deficiencies in the chipping pitching that I should know about?
Yeah, well, they closed their chipping area. They're rebuilding it in another place, so I haven't been able to practice. And the short game has really suffered. I'm having a little trouble. I feel like I'm getting a little too handsy and I'm not stroking it.
Okay, and maybe it's affecting your shot choice because you aren't able to practice. You're not as comfortable with some shots. Maybe you hit as often on the course, but you practice. You're not so willing to pull that one out when you need to. Maybe you're sacrificing some, proximity to the pin to actually hit a decent shot.
Yeah, and also I'm choosing to putt in places that I never would have putted.
It's understandable. I know it's actually pretty common. Someone's like, I'm not so sure. I don't want to duff the chip, so they take, the old adage, a bad putt's better than a bad chip, right?
Right, but I used to be able to get it much closer and I had better touch with the wedges because I practiced it a lot. I just can't do that now, so I could use a little help with that. Try to identify the fault that I've picked up.
Yeah. Well, and obviously, this isn't a PGA Tour course. The fringes aren't just glass smooth and perfect. There's little imperfections, little bumps, little divots are taken out in
Right,
cases.
that's why I would normally hit it. I'd say we're about 8-10 feet off the green out.
I've got your 3 wedges here. I know you chip this here, 50 degree a lot. Little bump and run. So we're going to take a look at that. I've also got a drill here that will help you out with this 58 and 54. Getting something a little higher, a little softer. Especially, your short side yourself with a bunker, short pin, you need to get a little height under it. I've got a little drill that'll make this easier to hit, even if you don't get to practice a ton while you're at the short game areas. Little chipping and pitching clinic we just did here right now. And I really think the towel drill helped you a lot with what we were doing because you were a little flippy with the wrist, especially when I tried to get you to hit that little higher shot with the 58 degree. You're very good with your 50 degree, hitting that little low runner, but obviously that doesn't work in all scenarios. I know there's lots of shape runoff areas around the course here that you need to you might need that little higher, softer shot a lot. And because your chipping area got taken out and they're moving it, you haven't been able to practice doing that. This is something that obviously it's not going to work if you got to hit a huge high flop shot that you really do have to turn those wrists on, but for 80% of shots you're going to have to hit until your short game area is back up and running when you practice, this is going to be much better for that. And it's pretty simple. Then you just open the face and open the feet a little bit and just make your same swing, and you can adjust the lofts on your clubs. Obviously move it back, run it in a little lower. You know all this.
Well, you know what? That's something that I focus on in my putting is I try to keep my elbows in, and so that's actually translates really well.
Yeah, well, and a lot of people call it, they'll teach them, the putting stroke trick. Maybe you've seen Steve Stricker. He used to hit all his pin, he'd hit a 100-yard shot like this, just dead hands, no wrist action. Obviously, he was very, very good at it. This is a very similar thing. There's a little bit of hinge in the wrists to it, but it's much simpler than some people who just stand dead still and try and move their arms. And it's really hard to get back to the ball like that. If you just turn the big muscles in your back and your chest, it's much easier to contact the ball.
Yeah, well, I like it. I'm going to use it.
All right, perfect. Well, we'll see you next week. We're going to be out on the range next week.
Okay.
I think we're going to work on more of the scoring irons, lower irons, maybe up to maybe a 7 or a 6. And that'll really help you, I know, because lots of times getting a little trouble off the tee, which we're going to work on big 4, will be the tee ball. And that'll help you, maybe you're trying to get up and down from 80, 90, 100 yards for par. This will really be able to help you with that if you can stick those irons in the balls.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Hey, John, welcome back.
Thank you.
Week 3 here. We're out here on the range this week. We're going to be working on short irons, mid irons, more of the scoring clubs. The clubs you're actually trying to hit more towards the pin than say if you're hitting one of your hybrids or your 3-wood. You're just trying to get it onto the green. Another thing we're going to work on, I know you said you got a lot of fairway bunkers out here. So we got a nice fairway bunker here on the range. You guys have, so we're going to do some work in that. Maybe get some, maybe some 7 irons, maybe a couple of hybrids out of there. Work on the technique getting them out of the bunkers there. I know you told me that you've been sort of mishitting a lot of your shots in the fairway. You're say 120 or 30 yards out. You're hitting 7 irons, and you just chunk it, or you mishit it, or you blade it. Is that true?
Yeah, I've been struggling just a little bit lately.
I also know that you're going back to your optometrist. You're going to see something about getting your prescription changed on your sunglasses there. They're more of driving glasses, got magnification to them. So you'll actually have to work around that, and maybe after you get those new glasses, you come back and get another lesson for that. So I want to see you. Let's get you warmed up here, get stretched out, and then we'll see what you got.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, and I got to tell you, I've been doing that towel drill on the chipping, and that's really helped. I'm hitting a lot better contact, and that really helped.
Good. Glad to hear that. You can also, I was thinking about it over the week there after our lesson. You can also do that when you're out here on the range warming up for your round. You can hit that, say with your 9 iron or so, if you need to hit like an 80, 90 yard pitch shot that you need to sort of keep down under the wind like that. You can use that towel drill, take like a 3/4 swing with a 9 iron and just sort of flight it in there, and it should check and stop pretty good for you. Okay. So maybe we can hit a couple of those too while we're out here. And this was the hard stuff, the chipping and putting we did in the last 2 weeks is sort of easy. You know how to do that. The technique's pretty good.
It's helped though. I've had a little more options on each shot to think about. So
definitely with the short game. This is the kind of stuff where it gets hard, actually working on the full swing. Now, when we started out, you were not hitting it very well. You were hitting a lot of really fat shots. You shanked a couple. But then we got out the stick and we worked on staying more rotation and less slide through the ball. And there was an literally immediate, like 2 swings, and you went from you couldn't even hit the ball to you're just hitting it perfect, hitting these nice high balls, a little bit of fade. You're pulling them still just a little bit, but we'll work on that another time.
Yeah,
we can. That's a little minor adjustment to maybe a little aim thing.
That's because I got into this little bit of sliding, and my contact was bad. And I hit a lot of good shots, but I hit a lot of bad shots.
Well, every once in a while when you wouldn't slide quite as much, or you time it up just right, you'd hit it pretty good.
Right. That's exactly right. I time it right.
And then, but when you timed it wrong, not good.
This takes a lot of that out of it.
Yeah.
So
with the swing I had you doing today, maybe if you're pulling it a little bit or you're over fading it a little bit, you can work with it on the course. You're a good enough player. You know how to do that. Well, if you can't hit the ball then you can't make that work.
Well, and you keep, so now you're trying something different every swing.
Yeah, you're
this
like,
feels pretty good. And I think it'll help with my short game too, to stay a little still.
Obviously with the short game, it's more just as we were doing with the towel drill, just sort of rotating the upper body.
Yeah. And I did go buy one of those yardsticks.
Perfect. Now, we didn't get a chance to, we said about in the beginning of the lesson, maybe we were going to work on some pitches with the towel drill. We didn't get to work on that today. Maybe we can do that another time. But it's the same thing as we were doing on the range, not on the range, on the putting green over there, excuse me. Just bigger swing, bigger clubs. Next week, bring the big stick, bring the driver. We're going to work on that. We're going to work on the longer clubs. Now, I know you don't hit 3-wood off the tee around here pretty much at all.
Well, I don't, yeah, because I can't hit it.
You're a little bit longer course. So pretty much, I think we're going to work on the driver and the 3-wood mostly off the tee. Maybe some of the hybrids, because you said you hit those on the par 3s a lot.
Yeah, and I do hit the 3-wood on number 6. That's about 220, 225 par 3. So.
Yeah, perfect. And we'll work on that too. Just sort of the same thing we did today, just with the longer clubs.
Yeah.
And then lesson 5 is the fun one. We're going to go out. We're going to get to play some golf. You can show me around your golf course here, and maybe I can help you with a little bit of decision making there.
Yeah.
Week 4, second to the last week here. We're going to be working on the drivers, the 3-woods, the hybrids and stuff today. Basically all the clubs we didn't get to last week.
Well, I got to tell you before we start, man, my game is really coming back. But staying still was a miracle drop. I mean, I had an 81 and a 78 last week.
That's pretty good. Considering you're, I mean, you were playing off like a 7 or an 8 at the beginning of the year, and you're what, up to like a 10 or an 11 now?
Yeah, I went off 4 points, so that's not good. But I just feel like it's coming back.
So it's basically back down to what your normal is.
Yeah, I should be down to a 7, so I feel really good. I'm really hitting a lot of solid shots.
Well, perfect. Well, the things we were working on last week, it's all going to translate right into the bigger clubs. That stuff's going to help with your hybrids and your 3-woods. Obviously, the driver's a little bit different swing, so it gets teed up so much, but it'll still help with that because, you know, they always say you want to be back a little bit on the driver. That staying still is going to help you be back on that driver and hit up on it a little bit. So why don't you grab your wedge or something? We'll get you warmed up, and then we'll move into the bigger clubs.
Okay.
We worked on the long game more. We got the hybrids, the drivers, the 3-woods done today. We also talked a little bit of course management stuff, which we'll work on obviously more next week for the playing lesson. Before the playing lesson next week, I would like to see you practice. Actually come out and do a range session. I know you said that you played twice and got your usual warm up in, you hit 30, 40 balls or so. But I'd like to see you actually come out and practice a little bit, even if you just come out for 15, 20 minutes and work on some of the short game stuff. That'll help you a lot for next week.
Right.
And if you can hit some balls, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll try to make some time this week.
Yeah, and even if you can't get out, maybe you can work on the chair drill at home that I've told you about.
Yeah, I can picture that.
And if you come out and chip and putt, make sure you bring the towel. Oh, excuse me, the towel with you. Do the towel drill. Bring your new ruler. Perfect. And for that ruler, you can make it harder or easier. If you move it forward on the ruler, you only have to put off a foot, or if you use the whole 3 or 4 feet, obviously. Other than that, next week playing lesson. We'll play 9 holes, and I'll kind of show you how I attack a golf course, how maybe I can see differences in your game versus my game. I know there's some interesting risk reward stuff you can get into around here if you hit it in the trees, you know, the small gap versus the big gap. So we'll take a look at all that stuff. Other than that, you got any more questions for me for this one?
No, this has been great, Charlie.
Oh, perfect, thank you. Okay, we'll see you next time. All right, John, welcome back. Last lesson in the series, lesson number 5. Today we're doing the 9-hole playing lesson. We're kind of going to put everything together that we've been working on for the last 4 lessons. And we're also going to work on taking it to the course. I'm also going to show you maybe some tips and tricks if you get in a tough spot or little things maybe here or there you can do to drop even more strokes off your score, okay?
Sounds good.
Perfect.
All right, let's do it.
Yep. All right, well that was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Finished up the 9-hole playing lesson. Some of the stuff we worked on, we obviously worked on the layup on that short par 4 out there. We did the pitch out of the trees with the kind of unique setup there. And then we also did the short pitch shot in front of the green that we worked on. So obviously that kind of incorporates some of the stuff we've been working on for these last 4 lessons and stuff like that. You got my number if you want to come back for any more lessons.
I'll be back.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much.
All right, buddy.
For your
Thank
time.
you.
Yep.